Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. I am Olakunle Kasumo. Kidnapping has sadly become a big problem in Nigeria today. The crime particularly became a consistent headline topic in the last 2 years. From career professionals to businessmen and politicians, it seems no group of people is being spared by desperate kidnappers who are determined to make substantial money from a crime that takes incredible emotional, psychological, and financial toll on its victims. Our guest today is Folarin Philip Banigbe. His book titled Abduction Chronicles is based on a horrific kidnap experience he had in 2016 when he was abducted from his home and taken blindfolded to an unknown destination where he was kept as ransom was demanded for his life. In Folarin's words, it was terrifying. Folarin joined us to discuss his book and the experience that changed his life forever. Right. Folarin, nice to have you on Channel's Book Club.
Thank you very much, Mole.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. Abduction Chronicles. This is a true life story.
Sure.
It's a story of kidnap and a kidnap experience you had.
Yep.
You know, one reads this and you become, to a large extent, scared of the kind of insecurity in our environment. You know, it's a very traumatic story, but also in some ways inspirational because I mean you came out of it.
Yeah.
You know, and that says a lot. You know, to anybody who is reading this, who probably could be in a difficult situation, not necessarily a kidnap,
Definitely.
you know, situation and all that. But let's scan through this a bit, the story. You were at home and then it started. Tell us a bit about that so that viewers can have a peep into this without giving up everything.
That's always difficult, but I'll try. So I was at home on a Saturday night going on Sunday, and it happened to be the eve of my wedding anniversary. So my wife had just gone to bed after the usual, happy anniversary stuff. And I was just preparing for church on Sunday, and after a while, I just had some funny sound within the compound. So I went to have a look, and then my horror started. So right downstairs, just across my kitchen, there's a large window, and I saw these guys, with these industrial quarters snapping through
my
window, bars, my window grill, and I was.
They were cotton.
They were cotton. They were
thick iron.
Thick iron, and they had these huge cutters, the one that you use in the factory, and they're just snapping the thing away, And I was looking at them like, this can't be real. So the first thing I did was to go back upstairs to my wife and say, look, babes, get dressed. There are people in the compound. So we had an adjoining property just next to us where we planted, stuff. So people used to jump into that compound to cut pawpaw, banana, and all that. They just said, no, don't worry, they are cutting bananas. I said, look, this is not banana. This is in our own compound. And she woke up. I could just get dressed, call the police lines that we have. So I went back downstairs to sort of engage them.
Your mother-in-law was at home.
But the mother-in-law was at home. My 8-year-old daughter was at home.
Two young ladies were at
home. Two young ladies who were visiting at home. I was the only guy, except for one guy who lives in the BQ and the security guy. That's all. So that began the horror, and that horror lasted 5 days.
Wow.
So what I tried to do...
They came in, robbed, and kidnapped you.
They came in, brutalized me, robbed us dry, and then kidnapped me. So it was a 3-whammy.
But usually, they are usually either robbers or kidnappers. In this case, they robbed.
Yeah.
And then kidnapped.
So there's a psychology to kidnapping. So I put that in the book. So there are different types of kidnapping. There's the one that they wait for you, they pick up people randomly, or they wait for you outside your normal places of abode, and they pick you up. Those are targeted. I mean, so the second one is targeted. But my own was profiled and targeted. Because they came to my house, they knew what time to come, they knew who they were looking for. So mine was different. And also, what I found out in my 5 days ordeal is that these are highly specialized things. These guys were highly specialized in that they had an the guys who came to my house were different from the guys that took me from the jetty. They were different from the guys that got me on the other side of the island. They were different from the guys that were guarding me. So these are different kidnappers. This one's meant business. So as I found out when I came back, this was the highest level of kidnapping as it is. So the guys who came to the house, they saw robbing me as a spoil. The people that engineered the kidnap, they were not interested in this stuff.
Yeah, they weren't interested.
So this was just for them, there was booty from the war front. So they took all that plus one car as part of their own extras, so to say.
But I was reading this and the trauma you went through. You were blindfolded.
Yeah.
You didn't know where you were going. There was a gun pointed at you. There was a gun on your back.
And a knife.
And there was a knife on your throat. And if the car moved, tilted any side, anything could have happened to you.
And these guys were drunk or stoned or either or both.
So you were in fear.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to imagine unless you experience
it. So you don't want to experience it. You don't even want to wish it on your worst enemy. So I was in a state of near inertia. I couldn't move, but I had to move. And I didn't want to speak, but then you have to say something.
Because they'll ask you questions.
They'll ask you questions, and then you don't know what answers you will give that will get them annoyed. And these guys had me in my van, and they were jubilating, like they had their prize, and they were really happy. So I was in between. I was thinking, this is the end of Falari. And in my mind, I'm thinking, will I die? Will I make it?
Yeah, because even that uncertainty was killing.
That is the major thing with this sort of experience.
That's a weapon.
That's a weapon. So first, they brutalized you. They separate you from the rest of the family. So in your mind, you're thinking, what's going on there? You don't know whether people are still back in your house. You don't know whether they're done, and then you don't know what they're going to do next. So at first, I thought maybe they didn't want to kidnap me. Maybe because they took our ATM cards. I thought maybe they're just going to get to the ATM point and then draw money. But I said, look, forget it. These guys are not coming for that. So as we started to drive, at that point, I wasn't blindfolded, but I was told to bury my head in my knees. So I could sort of imagine where we were going by the turns of the car, because I've lived there for almost all my adult life. But after a while, I figured we were going towards the jetty, and I lost track. So as soon as I got to the jetty, they blindfolded me, and I stayed on for the next 24 hours. So you're not sure where you were going. I had somebody pointing a gun at me. I had people directing me, where you put your foot down, raise up your feet, turn left, turn right. In the middle of the night in the jungle.
I don't want you to give away everything. Because, people have got to read this.
So.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the security issues of our environment.
It would be right to say that, but it would be scratching the surface if you said that.
Oh, it's not descriptive
enough. So security is not the problem. Insecurity is not the problem. Insecurity is a symptom of the problem. So I've had time to think about what the problem is in my own opinion. And the problem, I think, is that we generally as Nigerians, we have lost our humanity. The kind of things that we do today, not just kidnapping. You hear the Yahoo Pluses, you hear the general bandit killing, you hear the ethnic fighting. These are things that you would have sworn 20 years ago that would never happen in Nigeria. So when we look at one issue like kidnap, like this or that, and we say, oh, this is the problem, then we are being the usual Nigerian that we are. We are abstracting the issues. But the real issue is that we have come to a place where morals don't count anymore, family values don't count anymore. People don't ask you. Until I bought my first car as a oil company worker, even when I bought it, my mom was saying, oh, so how much do you earn? So how can you afford this car? But people go out in the morning, broke. They come back home, rich.
Nobody's asking.
I will just celebrate them. Now, this loss of morals is making us into what we didn't think we would ever be. And so when somebody does things like this to another person, it's because there is no humanity involved. So people could look at me in the face and say, look, you're going to die here if you don't pay. And they're asking me for more than my life savings. And they were showing me places where they had, people that they killed and they put in shallow graves. So if we didn't lose our humanity, the book says, love the other person as you love yourself. Do unto other persons as you want them to do unto you. But when we do stuff like this to other people, even the politicians who steal money, even the civil servants, so you look at the country and you'll be.
So there's a larger context.
There's a larger context.
Well, Lauren, we don't have so much time. I've got to ask you. You were not a writer. You decided to put this in the book. Well, you are now officially a writer, by the way.
Okay.
I hope you've accepted that.
I haven't actually. I said an argument with a friend yesterday who says, "Oh, it's like you're a writer." I said, "No, I'm not a writer. I just wrote one book." But before then, so I used to publish a newspaper in Port Harcourt, and I used to write for that newspaper. And then I still have a blog. So when I said to her that I'm not a writer, she said, "No, but you've done all this writing." I said, "That doesn't make me a writer." So when I write 3 books or 4 books, then you can call me a writer.
Okay, we are now officially conscripting you as a writer now. Channels Book Club.
Okay.
But you were inspired to write this after the experience, right?
Yes, actually, while I was there, the first day, I got this inspiration saying, "You're going to write a book about this."
The first day.
The first day.
When you were not even sure.
I didn't even know what was going to happen. And I said, "So what am I going to write in the book?" And they kidnapped me, and then we paid ransom, and then, so I said, "How's that going to make anybody? How's that going to give you glory?" But by the time I went through the experience, by the time I got out, I knew why the book had to be written. And for those of us who are faith-based, I think you need to read the book. We began to talk about it before we got on the show. I think that's the reason why I actually had to write the book. But the other reason why I wrote the book is so that you said it was scary. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to make it look scary. Mm-hmm. But I think that Nigerians are we have lost that wow factor. We have that awe factor. So something happens and they say, "Oh, how many people?" I say 100 people. I say, "Thank God,
yeah, that sense.
That sense of humanity.
Yeah.
So we've lost it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring people. So when I got out, a friend of mine called me from the UK, and she was just laughing through the experience. "Oh, so how you were kidnapped? Hey, how much did you pay?" So I realized that people don't understand what goes on. So I assume that when the people are kidnapped, you take them to one hotel, you are feeding them like a Christmas goat, and then they pay money and they go out. So I wanted to make people see that, look, this thing is really much more than that, and to take people through the experience. So it's Folarin today. Tomorrow, God forbid, it's a Kunle, it's a Solomon, it's a Danladi. And if you look at the country today, across the length and breadth of the country, this is now happening for real. So we need to come to a place where we understand that if you don't come together as a people, we're just going to be poached one after the other. People say to me, "Oh, why didn't you have more security?" I say, "How much more security can you have?"
How much more security can you have?
So I wrote a chapter in the book where I said the history of kidnapping.
Yeah.
I became people like you and I who don't have money. Before it was big people, politicians, expatriate workers, but now it's regular guys. People get kidnapped in busloads today.
Yeah, today in Nigeria, it's a big issue.
So it's a menace, and it's a societal issue. It's not individual.
Folarin, thanks for joining us on Channels Book Club, and
thank
you for writing this. It's lovely.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Nice to see you.